The president's decision, Jimmy, to pull out U.S. troops out of Syria, we all know, all listening to the program, know that it received a very mixed review. Some saying it was very wise, others saying it was very short-sighted. You and I have talked about it on this program a little bit. Some say that it was an abandoning of our friends, the Kurds. Others say it was a very subtle shift on the part of the president to get Russia to step in and assume the responsibility and the cost for peacekeeping in a region that has never, ever known peace and probably never will. And then over the weekend, U.S. forces were able to, with the help, which is interesting, of Russia and the Kurds, to kill ISIS leader al-Baghdadi. And then on Monday, very few people saw this. It was just there and then kind of gone. But in a separate U.S. missile strike there in Syria, same area, they killed the number 2 ISIS leader, who was also the spokesperson for ISIS. So on one hand, Jimmy, I want to ask you about this. It appears that the U.S. is gone from Syria, but the actions of the last days would suggest that certainly the U.S. presence is not totally gone. So give us a top-line summary, if you would, of the situation in Syria in regard to President Trump's decision and what may be going on there, and perhaps what's going on that's not simply obvious to the normal observing eye.
Sam, I've got to say, of course, that the Baghdadi raid overshadows all other news in the Middle East. And the Kurds had a very important inside operation with near Baghdadi that helped make this raid a very successful raid by the special ops operation that took place there. The reason that Kurd was inside and an informant for this United States operation was because Islamic State had killed his family. He was taking revenge with them. He was actually relaying information from out of that location where Baghdadi was hidden, and he was giving that to the special ops. This, of course, led to a very successful raid. Turkey and Erdogan are really pleased. They're thrilled to see Baghdadi gone because of his claim that he was the caliphate of the caliph. And he was the one that was responsible for actually trying to set up that in his own country under his desire to revive the old Ottoman Empire and set up and become the pan-Islamic leader. While the United States media and, of course, the Democrats are downplaying the operation in the Middle East, there are nations that are praising the United States on how this came off. And meanwhile, Russia and Turkey agree for the Turks to stand down, which is quite interesting, on their attacks on the Kurds. This is a display, of course, of the influence that Russia has in the Middle East because of the Russian presence in Syria. Bashar Assad comes out pretty good. All these things really setting the stage for Bible prophecy to be fulfilled, Sam.